Hey everybody, and welcome to Project Premium Harvest. My name is Matt. In today's video, I'm going to be discussing my portfolio, a bunch of big moves I made because of circumstances in the market. We're going to talk about the YieldMax Group D pairs, and then we're going to review those specific funds, and then we're going to talk about my YMAX distribution. Let's get started. As you guys can see, my portfolio definitely took a beating. Basically, this last 24 hours pretty much went down about $10,000. Because the Fed came out, they're dropping the interest rates by 25 points, which is like 0.25%. And the market, well, not necessarily the market, the hedge funds decided to tank the market a little bit. So there's a lot of sales going on. But with that being said, because of the big sale in the market and also news about nvdy, I had a stop loss at about $23 a share. And then nvdy went below that threshold. I sold out at $23 a share of all my 7,000 shares. My big position in nvdy is out right now. I was looking around the market and I found a couple of different opportunities I put my money into instead. So I was invested about $150,000 of like margin money in nvdy. And so that freed up that I put into other places like xdte, rdte, a little bit of amzp, a little bit of YMAX, but let me just kind of talk through it a little bit more. So as you guys can see, I do have some nvdy, right? And so I basically sold it at $23 a share because of a stop loss. I wanted to minimize my risk, and I always have a stop loss in place for any type of YieldMax fund that I'm heavily invested in. So something like this doesn't happen. And the reason why I specifically did that stop loss is if you look at nvdy's your timeline, I was afraid that I was going to hit this $20.96 mark. So I basically capped my losses at $23, and I didn't know how far this is going to run down. I mean, technically it could still run down further, but from just what I was observing, it looks like it stabilized a little bit. Too early to tell, but didn't want to miss an opportunity for the upward potential. So I only bought 1,500 shares. That's also kind of to cover my expenses for the fund of like my heloc loan and some of the margin expenses. So that's kind of one of the reasons why I hopped back in at a discount. Just wanted to throw that out there. So yeah, but definitely stop loss was super helpful in preventing me to lose more thousands and thousands of dollars. So as you guys can see, I repurchased at about $22.59 in the after hours, and it's already up to $22.70. So, I'm up like 180 bucks. So that's kind of wanted to point that out there. And then let's just talk about my other plays I'm running. So I have two options calls for SPY at the 585 marker. So basically the entire S&P 500 went down. I just want to buy these. These haven't executed yet, but I'm going to buy them in the morning tomorrow. So that once the SPY kind of goes back up, I think it'll trend back up to $600. I don't foresee this being the bubble that's bursting yet. And if I'm wrong, whatever, right? I'm investing in other things, and they're a lot safer than these funds. But yeah, so talked about my SPY calls, nvdy. So for rdte, I purchased about another 500 shares of rdte at discount. So I bought in at like 41. What did I buy in at? So I bought in at 41.85 for rdte. So actually I plussed up about 700 shares, so about $30,000. And then I also put in another about $30,000 into xdte as well. Let's see here. So I bought another 500 shares at $51.99. See if it's up. Oh, I'm up 1 penny. All right, so enough joking around there. And then for YMAX, this hasn't executed yet, or not YMAX, but why did I say YMAX? amzp, I currently have a buy order for about 200 or 300 shares. amzp, and then what else? Last thing I bought another 500 shares of YMAX at discount is $17.70. I also wanted to note one more thing. I did buy about an extra 1,000 shares of ulty at about $9.15, so that when it pops back up and the market goes back up, I'm just going to quickly sell it for looking for like a 50-cent gain per share, almost $100,000 in the after hours once the Fed came out with that new interest rate reduction and just started buying like crazy. So some people, they get super scared, they start selling out and they don't plan on getting back in. For me, this is just a discount opportunity. I protected myself with nvdy. took that money, and then now I'm putting it into different funds, right? So that's just kind of my thought process of what happened today and some of the changes I made in my portfolio. So now let's talk about the YieldMax Group D distributions. So we have YMAX, which is what I'm invested in. I have about 1,000 shares now. The distribution was 0.1390. YMAG, abysmal, 5 cents, almost 6 cents. msty, $3. YQQQ, 27 cents. amzy, 86 cents. Aptly, 42 cents. AIYY, 87 cents. DISO, 36 cents. SQY, 65 cents. And smcy, $2.35. So those are the distributions. The YMAX one, not too exciting, but it's been holding its NAV relatively better than it used to. The market drop definitely affected the share price of YMAX, but let's dive into the funds. All right, so looking at YMAX here, right? The year marker, not too terribly exciting. It's down 11%. This little market dip that we're having here is not helping it at all. But you definitely can see sometime around August, whatever YieldMax did, maybe not August, but September, YieldMax looks like it changed its strategy, which was able to hold its NAV a lot more effectively, right? And then it continued the upward trend, right? That's why I invested in it. I definitely saw this turnaround, and the funds were holding the NAV a lot more stable versus whatever the hell was happening early on, and they were taking massive dips and fund wasn't recovering itself. But I'm definitely more bullish on YMAX right now. And as like a strategy going forward, I might temporarily invest my money when I'm in and out of funds into YMAX because it is a pretty high distribution for the cost of the share. Just kind of throwing those notes out there. Definitely a good time to buy if you've been on the fence for it. I don't know if it's going to come down to this 1694 level, right? Or this, 1671, but right now it's currently at a discount. We don't know how the market's going to react the next couple of days, weeks, months, but right now would be a good buying point if you have the extra money and are looking for an investment. I'm definitely a fan of it, and I am invested in it. And usually whenever I'm a fan of something, I'll research it for a bit, and then if I like it, I invest in it. I don't just keep talking about potentials and what ifs. I'm a doer. So that's YMAX. YMAG, on the other hand, let's see. Last year, it's down 2%. So definitely a lot better than YMAX, right? But the distributions have not been as much. The NAV is definitely a lot more stable than YMAX. So if you want more stable NAV, but the distribution is a little bit lower for YMAG. Moving on to msty, this thing is a monster, right? Massive $3 distribution. Over the last year, it's up 54%. So if you bought in, early on, good for you, but not many people do. People buy in at different points. Is it a good time to buy right now? Hard to say. Bitcoin is definitely on a bull run. How high is it going to go? Hard to say, but massive dip right now from the market itself. And then also the distribution looks like it's been pulled out, I think, and it'll finalize tomorrow. So is it a good time to buy? Just from when we hit this $45 marker, it's not anywhere near that. And Bitcoin has hit, hundreds. This was, I think, this marker in November when Bitcoin hit either $100,000 or $105,000 in value. And then since then, right, it recently hit $107,000, $108,000, and it wasn't able to recover that upward trend or get anywhere near this $45 mark. It's kind of a hard sell for me right now. Am I thinking about potentially jumping in for a quick move? Maybe. Let me know in the comment section what you guys think. That's msty. YQQQ over the last year down 11%. And what were the distributions? I don't even remember. What was it? 27 cents. Yeah, not interested. Nothing more to say there. I like the curve fund better. I think it's what, the KQQQ or all right, amzy over the last year down 5%. Not too bad. Distribution's not too bad. I was invested in it, but I pulled myself out once I realized that when Amazon here hit, its highest mark it's ever been, $230 a share, it didn't recover much or most of this share price back in May. One of the reasons why I pulled out, however YieldMax was running their options, wasn't capturing the upside. So I pulled out. Aptly last year down 8%. Nominal distribution, nothing too crazy here, guys. So we're going to keep moving forward. Is an opportunity to invest. Is definitely in a chop zone, down a little bit. It's up to you. I'm not investing in it, but let's look at AIYY. The AIYY is quite interesting, down 52% over the last year. But if we look at this last 3 months, it's not necessarily been too bad. And it's been recovering its dividend over the last 3 months. So I don't know. It's hard to say that if this fund is worthy of investment. I'm definitely going to watch it a little bit further. Some people are saying there might be some momentum behind this, and this could be used for like a quick play to grab some money. I don't know too much about this, but yeah, not investing in it right now, but I'll look into it a little bit more. I'll be monitoring it the next couple of days to see maybe if we can get a better price point to come in. This, I don't really have any interest in investing in this. If you love Disney, great, buy the DVD, but investing in this, SQY is definitely something I am curious about investing in. The last, 3-4 months have been pretty good. It's kept its NAV, it's recovered it, right? NAV dip, recovery, NAV dip, recovery, NAV. And so it's definitely looking forward to maybe throwing in about $10,000 in here. I'll definitely throw a post up tomorrow on YouTube or whatever saying if I am or not investing in this. But this is definitely something quite interesting. I might just throw in like $10,000 and watch it go up a little bit. Not looking for a home run, but if this appreciates, doesn't have to be the full distribution, right? Of the 65 cents. If it goes up, 35 cents, 40 cents, 50 cents, that's a win in my book. Quick, 50 cents off of that kind of investment. SMCY. Nah, I'm good. All right, so now that we talked about each individual fund, I'm just going to take you guys to my spreadsheet so that we can visualize some stuff. All right, guys, I made some fancy, cool looking graphs. So the CFH stands for Core Foundational Holdings. And if you guys have been following my channel for a little bit, Core Foundational Holdings are things that I value that will not lose their NAV or their asset value as much as like a YieldMax fund due to like the NAV erosion because of the high premium payments. So here I wanted to come up with a mechanism to accurately track the weekly payments, the value of the accounts, and things of that nature. So let's just talk through it. The total weekly payout that I'm going to have for this Group D, including the Roundhill funds, is about $609.83, right? So between the 2 weeks of last week and then this week, I pretty much paid back the heloc loan, like minimum payment plus extra, and then some of that extra is going to go towards the margin, right? And then so the other 2 weeks are coming up. That's just straight cash for me, right? And that's just the Core Foundational Holding. That's all right. So the CFH total weekly account total is the total value of the assets I have in the Core Foundational Holdings. So right now I included all the stuff I'm buying on margin. So that's about $138,565. In the previous chart we're looking at, the $609, that's not including the stuff I bought on sale. So that was just what I had from the previous week, and I kind of calculated the estimate there. I'm not sure if I'm going to get the payment if I got the shares in time for the declaration and the record date. Wanted to like lowball myself so I don't, put false numbers out there. I'd rather have a lower number, show it to you guys, and then turns out it was actually higher, right? But yeah, that's so currently everything I've invested or it's going to be invested is about $138,000. Since I'm trying to highlight YieldMax funds in this specific video, I'm going to talk about just my YMAX investment. So last week I had about $9,000, and then this week I piled on about another $10,000 into YMAX. So currently I am at $18,196.17. And let's look at the weekly payment or the weekly premium from YMAX. All right, and the YMAX weekly premium is going to be $74.37. Nothing too spectacular, but that is the weekly payment. All right, guys, that wraps up the video. We talked about a lot of great things, talked about the portfolio, the different changes I'm making, the things I bought on sale, talked about the YieldMax Group D distributions for the month of December, talked about my YMAX payment. So yeah, guys, let me know what you think in the comment section. What are your different moves for this downtrending market? All right, guys, love you. Peace. Enjoy your journey. Have fun out there.